Hey guys, it's Holly, and it is already September. The year is rapidly approaching the end, so I wanted to go over some of the really key sets that are retiring at the end of 2025 because it is getting down to crunch time season, and if you are after any of these things, this should be your top priority. And Lego, I feel like, is kind of mean for this, honestly, because they're releasing some of their biggest sets that I feel like a lot of people are really excited for at the time of year where you should really be focusing on the stuff that you didn't pick up at release day and probably should, otherwise you're going to pay for retired prices. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. Now, if you want the full list of sets, I will leave it linked down in the description below. It is from Brick Fanatics, but starting off, we have Harry Potter. Now, the most sad and notable one on this list is the giant Diagon Alley set. This set holds a very special place in my heart, and it has been around for 5 years now, so it kind of is time to retire it. But since Gringotts is still on the shelf, it does feel a little weird that they're retiring Ring 1 and not the other. This is also unfortunately one of those sets that got hit with that price increase that Lego did just kind of out of nowhere in the middle of the year. So I haven't really seen it very much on discount either, since it has been a Lego exclusive and for quite a long time, I feel like, was not readily stocked. Now, there are reports of this one already being sold out thanks to the Harry Potter promo and sales that happened at the beginning of September. So if you do find this one and you have been looking after it, I would highly recommend picking it up. Or maybe if it is sold out already, I would go immediately onto Facebook Marketplace or Bricklink or eBay and buy either someone's used one or someone's new one before those prices start to skyrocket, because I feel like that potentially could happen in January, especially with the release of the brand new Hogsmeade done in a similar style. Maybe that is something that's going to happen, but it's also been around long enough that I don't feel like it would necessarily. Unlike, say, the Hogwarts Icons, which is the second set on the list of retiring this year. I feel like this one was not as popular, so I can definitely see this one kind of being one of those like secret climber type of sets that just suddenly become super valuable in the future, especially since there are quite a lot of exclusive stickered pieces as well as printed parts. But I don't know, I don't necessarily see it as a set that people continue to go and look for, because it, at least for me, wasn't one of my favorite ones that they've released, but I don't know, you could be completely different. The next one I wanted to mention is the Durmstrang ship, or I guess Triwizard Tournament Arrival set, complete with the Durmstrang ship and the Beauxbatons carriage. This set I personally really enjoyed. It was one of my favorites, and it is kind of surprising to see it retiring this time soon, although I feel like it's not one that can necessarily sit on a shelf for a really long time, since it is a little bit more of a niche set. However, I personally really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very fun set, and I have seen reports of it being like pretty steeply discounted at places like Walmart and Target, so I would keep an eye out if you are looking for that. However, the most notable things retiring are quite a lot of the most detailed kind of Hogwarts ever lineup, which is really surprising. Starting off with the boathouse. And since this is one that directly connects to the exterior of the buildings, I'm really surprised that they're getting rid of this already. I thought this would have stuck around way longer. This is also personally one of my favorite ones that they have done, because you can kind of just stick it on a shelf as is. It works really well. I mean, personally, that's how I've done it. I think it looks fantastic. And also, I thought the minifigure lineup was really sick. Alongside Diagon Alley, this is probably one of the ones that I would recommend the absolute most out of all of this list, alongside, honestly, a lot of the other Hogwarts Castle sets. The next one being Hagrid's Hut. I love this version of Hagrid's Hut. I thought it was fantastic. I ended up buying one as well for like a parts draft last year. It's incredible. I find it really fun. I find it really detailed. And just like the Durmstrang ship, I have seen quite a few good discounts on this one. However, more important, if you do want that more detailed version of Hogwarts, I would say is the Owlery, since that is another kind of exterior set. I feel like Hagrid's Hut you can kind of avoid. With the Owlery, it's the first one we've ever gotten. It is really fun as well. I mean, it's not my favorite Hogwarts Castle piece, but you know, it's there, it's important, I guess. Then classroom-wise, we will also be losing Potions, as well as the Dueling Club, which barely made it to a year. I don't know why they're retiring that one so quickly. That's kind of surprising. Although at the same time, you know, I don't think it's necessary to swap it in to the castle layout. Moving on to Star Wars, and there is quite a long list of retiring sets. However, I just wanted to pull out some of the key ones. The first one being the UCS Razor Crest. I'm kind of surprised that they're retiring this one, outside of the fact that it is a big set. It takes up a lot of shelf space, and with the amount of giant sized sets that Lego are releasing this year, I feel like it kind of did need to go. However, we're getting the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, so I don't know why they're getting rid of the Razor Crest necessarily. I mean, outside of the fact that it's a giant ship. It's a cool ship. I skipped it. However, I also know that there are a lot of people who are either exclusively UCS collectors or just love collecting those sets, and also they're not the easiest to buy on the aftermarket just due to the box size. So if you were looking at getting that one, I would probably get to that sooner rather than later. I feel like that's going to be the more popular of the UCS sets that are retiring from LEGO Star Wars to get, and I don't expect it to sit around, especially as we approach Black Friday. The second of the two is the UCS X-Wing. This is the third one we've ever gotten. It's pretty cool. It's very flimsy though, and also the exclusive Luke Skywalker you can just get from a keychain. I really don't think this is necessarily a super interesting one, unless of course again you want every single UCS set. It's also going to be easier to ship because it's smaller, so you probably could go and skip this one and not have to worry too much on the aftermarket. Which, speaking of the aftermarket, we then have the Ghost and Phantom. Now of course the original version of this set completely skyrocketed after it retired. I don't think this second one is going to be the same. I mean, maybe with a new season of Ahsoka it kind of takes a jump. This has been on quite a big discount though, however, as well, from Amazon to LEGO doing May 4th deals on it. I ended up picking up this set a while ago when it was on one of those discounts. I haven't built it yet though, but I do really love this set. I think the minifigure selection as well is fantastic, and just the model in general, especially if you're a fan of either the Ahsoka show or Rebels, the Ghost is a must-have. For the Clone Wars fans or set modification fans, we also have the retiring of the Coruscant Guard gunship. This gunship model is really, really well done, and there are some absolutely incredible recolors and custom versions that you could get out there if you wanted more of a classic Republic style gunship or a Plo Koon style gunship. There are a lot of options with this set, although with those recolorings I don't necessarily think you need to have the Coruscant Guard gunship, but the figures are pretty cool. Then again, you could get the shock troopers in one of those little foil pack things. So I don't know, I personally don't see it necessarily worth it, but I do think this is going to be one of those ones that is going to sell out quite quickly, because a bunch of people who are buying sets for investment are probably going to go and snatch this up just because it's got some clones in it. So if you do want it for yourself, I'd probably focus on getting that sooner rather than later. A very surprising one on this list, but I also, I guess, shouldn't be surprised, is the Onyx Cinder. Now I saw this on some very steep discounts around this time of year last year, especially approaching Christmas. I ended up getting mine super cheap from Big W in Australia, especially by the time I did the US to Australian conversion rate. And that was still at the time that Skeleton Crew was airing. Now I was personally a really big fan of the show, which is why I wanted to get the set. I mean, mostly for the minifigures. Also, I thought the ship itself was kind of cool, and the set looked like it had some good parts. I feel like this is going to be one that is going to be on pretty steep discount from LEGO Star Wars, especially with some of the other ones on the list, like that weird droid builder is also on the retiring list. But this one specifically, just because it was from, I guess, more of a little bit of a niche Star Wars show, I think this is probably going to be on some really good clearance deals. Now, speaking of the droid builder, actually most of the 20th anniversary wave is going to be retiring at the end of the year, including boarding the Tantive 4. I love this set. If you ever planned on expanding it or getting a ton of them or making a bunch of mocks, or even for some reason if you thought this was a good army builder for Rebel troopers and Stormtroopers, I mean, now is the time to get it. By far, this was my favorite out of the 20th anniversary wave, and if there was one set I was going to recommend to you out of that, it would definitely be this one. I think it's fantastic, and it is well worth picking up if you haven't already, especially with the deals that I've been seeing on this over the last year. I feel like it's pretty steadily 20% off these days. And then if you're planning on picking up or already have picked up the Jabba's Sail Barge, now is the time to get the Sarlacc Pit, because that is retiring. I would have thought this would stick around for at least one more year, just given the fact that it ties in to that UCS set, but they're already getting rid of it. This thing as well was hideously overpriced. Thankfully, again, I managed to find a really good discount on this one on Amazon Australia. I don't know about the US deals though. I haven't seen any that particularly stuck out to me that I recall, but then again, I haven't really been looking out for it, but I don't think this one's gonna go necessarily too deep of a discount, but I can see it being discounted on the lead up to Black Friday. Next up, I want to talk about Disney. Now, Disney in 2025 has had a pretty big upgrade in terms of set quality. There are way more regular kind of Disney brick-built sets featuring minifigures that feel a little bit more adult and fun build-wise than the typical kind of mini-doll, Friends-esque, simpler builds that we've seen previously. Now, the biggest one retiring from this lineup is the Disney Castle. Now, this to me does not come as a surprise, although I did think it was going to last just a tiny bit longer, but given that the castle has just been announced to be recolored, you know, it was inevitable. This set is gorgeous, and it is also the only set that you can get Rapunzel in. So if you want to try and collect all the Disney princesses, probably should look into getting this. I think that Rapunzel minifigure is going to skyrocket. She's already very, very expensive, and the fact that this castle didn't sell anywhere near as well as the original one did, I think it's just going to get worse. I personally much prefer the build of this second one. I prefer the look of it. The color scheme has very much grown on me, even though it's now no longer going to match what the castle actually looks like, which in my case, being a Disney World local, is kind of depressing. Oh well, I'll get over it. But yes, I definitely think if you were a fan of the Disney Princess minifigures, either buy Rapunzel on her own now or pick up this castle and then like sell the model or sell the rest of the minifigures or something. It is a very big shame that this is going. However, this screams to me that a large replacement is coming, because why else would we take away one of the best, coolest selling Disney sets if not to put a really big box in its place? I'm just theorizing, but that's my thoughts. And another Disney castle that's retiring is the mini Sleeping Beauty castle, the Disneyland castle. Now, I'm hoping by retiring this one, they're gonna replace that big Disney castle with a big Sleeping Beauty castle, which I would be very, very excited for and a very, very big fan of. Also, retiring this while Disneyland's celebrating its 70th, honestly, kind of rude. I thought it would stick around a bit longer. The Walt Disney Tribute Camera will also be retiring, which does make sense. I mean, the 100-year anniversary has been and gone. So if you were after Dumbo or Bambi or Walt Disney himself, that is one to definitely look at getting. Same with the Madrigal house, that really big, beautiful one. That will also be leaving, which is quite unfortunate because I thought that build was really sick. Although I wasn't planning on getting it. I'm definitely not planning on getting it now either, so I'm just gonna let that one go. Finally, the most surprising on this list is Snow White's Cottage. Again, I feel like there must be another one that they're doing in March that is like a large Disney princess set. If they're retiring this one, the Snow White Cottage is a fantastic set. I absolutely love it. If you're a Disney fan, it is well worth getting. I don't think it's going to be particularly expensive on the aftermarket though, so like maybe it is one you can kind of leave, but just in terms of set quality, this was a real standout for me. This and the Beauty and the Beast castle, like, they are fantastic. Speaking of fantastic sets, I want to highlight two of my favorite Marvel sets of all time because they will be retiring along with a bunch of the other smaller play sets and mechs. But the first is the Daily Bugle. I do think though that its time is kind of up, especially with the other large kind of superhero-y D2Cs that they've released over the last few years, but the Daily Bugle has always been by far the best. Just having a classic Spider-Man building, it's always felt right to me, and has also served as a fantastic base to display any Spider-Man minifigure. Like if you have the new Into the Spider-Verse minifigure collection, put them on the Daily Bugle. If you have MCU figures, throw them on the Bugle. I have a lot of like my comic book ones on there. I have a full-on Wicked Brick display case for it. I love the Bugle so much. It is one of those sets as well that I really need to bring over to the US with me sooner rather than later, but I am kind of daunted, to be honest, by the thought of having to do that. But I love the Daily Bugle. If you're a Spider-Man fan, go and get this. I do think that this is one that probably could go up quite a lot in value because of those sticker sheets that are included in it and not necessarily the minifigures. I mean, there are some really cool ones like Daredevil and Punisher. They are absolute highlights alongside Blade and Black Cat, and I don't see them redoing them anytime soon. But the Bugle is another one on this list that I highly recommend picking up, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan. I mean, we're getting a new Spider-Man movie this year. This thing is going to be right in everyone's eyes as soon as that movie drops, so better get to it. And speaking of new Spider-Man movies, that is also why I think they are retiring the No Way Home Final Battle. This has lasted quite a long time. I thought this retired, honestly, a couple of years ago. I'm surprised that it didn't. I loved this set. It was really fun. If you're a big No Way Home fan or just a big Spider-Man live action fan, go and get it. It's not like it's a ton of money either, but I don't think this one's gonna be super hard to get a hold of in the future if you haven't, so, you know, it probably shouldn't be the top of your priority list. Then lastly, we have the honorable mentions kind of category, starting off with an idea set, which is the Sanderson Sisters Hocus Pocus house. Now, as we approach Halloween, this I definitely think is the one to look out for, because every single time of year this rolls around, this sells like hotcakes. There are so many big fans of the Hocus Pocus movie, specifically in the US, that I feel like that's going to sell out there first, no doubt in my mind. But also, if you just want a fun Halloween decoration that is made out of Lego, this is a fantastic option. I bought this set before I had seen the movie, just because of how cool of a decoration I thought it was. But there is no way that this set is lasting past October, so if you are looking out for it, better get to it now. Second one on the list is the McLaren F1 Technic car. This is a very outdated model. The newer ones are so much better that when it came to buying my first ever Technic set, of course I was going to get an F1 car, I ended up picking the Ferrari over the McLaren, which was a hard thing for me to do because I am a McLaren ride or die. I am a lifelong McLaren fan. I had to pass up this set because I thought it was ugly. So I'm hoping they redo it, especially next year. That would be really cool. Modular wise, we have the Boutique Hotel and the Jazz Club. So if you're a modular collector, those two will be leaving us this year. And if you're a big castle fan, the Lion Knights Castle as well as the Medieval Town Centre will also be leaving. That Lion Knights Castle is awesome. Again though, it's a massive box. I feel like it has had its time too. For all of the Ninjago fans out there, unfortunately the Ninjago City Markets will be retiring at the end of the year. We have lost another giant Ninjago D2C. Those sets are incredible, and I know Ninjago fans go crazy over those things, so I thought I would let you know. From DC, we will be losing the Batman Animated Series sets, which is really unfortunate, and that includes the Gotham artwork, which look, I'm not surprised about, and also the Batmobile, which is a shame. I still have yet to buy that Harley Quinn minifigure, so I should probably do that now. From Nintendo, the Giant Bowser is retiring, as well as the Cool Peaches Castle set, which I personally really liked that one. I own it. It's really fun, so I thought I would mention that one, as well as Nook's Cranny. There's actually quite a lot of really notable Animal Crossing sets that are going to be retiring at the end of the year, which is really, really shocking. So if you're a fan of Animal Crossing and want some of those really notable and iconic characters and locations, get to it. And then the Kick Sauber F1 car is retiring. All the rest of them are going to be still available. However, coming next year, there is only going to be 9 of the 11 teams from the 2026 grid that will be available. So unfortunately, Sauber is gone. Now this does make sense. It is definitely one of the worst selling of the cars, but also Sauber is turning into Audi next year, which I assume is probably the reason why this is the only car that's retiring. So those are some of the highlights that I found on the retiring list for 2025. I would definitely be prioritizing my Lego purchases based on this list. If there are things that you want that you haven't gotten, get the retiring ones, leave all of the new stuff. It is not time to focus on new things at this time of year. But I hope this could be very helpful for you in terms of budgeting and planning out the rest of your 2025 Lego spending. But if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to this channel as well as my main channel, Holly on Film, if you haven't checked that out already. And until next time, I will see you later.